Hello, Hero of Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today we're going to be taking a quick fire look at all three of these Spider-Man figures. These are the three that came in the latest Spider-Man retro carded wave. We have Last Stand Spidey, Scarlet Spider, and Spider Shot, aka Assassin Spider-Man. We're going to take a quick look at these, and what that means is I'm just going to show you the pictures I took, give my overall thoughts for each figure, and then rate them. This will not have an articulation segment, and it's just going to be all three, one video. So let's waste no more time and get into it. Alright, kicking off this review, we're going to start off with Spider Shot. This was a Spider-Man I wasn't super familiar with, but in anticipation of this release, I actually went and checked out the original Spider-Man vs. Wolverine comic book, and then the What If comic book that this version of Spider-Man appears in, which is a What If version of the Spider-Man vs. Wolverine book. That helped me get familiarized with this version of Spider-Man and what his deal is, and basically he's just an assassin that works with Spider-Man and kind of really honed in his Spider-Man abilities, especially his spider sense. And I think that's really cool, and this is a cool look for a Spider-Man. I'm very happy with how this figure turned out, and it overall is very satisfying to have in hand now, knowing what the Spider-Man can do and does in the comic books. He is very fun to pose and very dynamic with posing. Of course, he's on a Spider-Man body we've gotten before. I believe it's just the retro Spider-Man figure, but with pinless limbs. But he also comes with new hands that have the, I'm going to call them the bullet shooters instead of the web shooters. I mean, bullet shooters just gun, but whatever. they're pretty fun, and they even have unique blast effects, so that really adds to this figure's uniqueness, especially amongst all the other Spider-Verse characters we have for the collection. I would say my biggest complaint with this figure is that he did not come with wall crawling hands, and that would have been really nice to get because we don't often get wall crawling hands in just plain black. Usually they have either the white square on the back or some other kind of detail that makes it harder to use on other characters or just specifically this character. So wall crawlers in black would have been really great, but otherwise this is still a solid figure. So I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. There's still some stuff that could have been added, but everything here that they gave us is still excellent, and I have no complaints that are serious enough for me to say don't buy this or that held me off on buying this. I think I even got this figure on sale, which I would have paid full price for, but seeing it was on sale really made me jump at the opportunity to have him. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 is what I'm going to give him, and let's move on to the Scarlet Spider figure. I really don't have a lot to say with the Scarlet Spider figure. It is an amazing update to a version of a character we needed. We've gotten a lot of Ben Reillys over the past couple years, more recently than we have in the past, but the sweatshirt Scarlet Spider look was definitely one I felt needed an update. I was able to get the retro version of the Scarlet Spider figure from 2017. Shout out to Summit City Spidey for helping me get that. But I was still very excited to get this version as well. Being on the Renew Your Vows body means that he is at the peak of Spider-Man articulation, and you can really achieve that with this figure. My biggest complaint is that he did not come with the unmasked Ben Reilly head sculpt. It would have been a great opportunity for us to receive that with the digital face printing tech on this figure, because we received 3 other Ben Reilly figures in the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, and none of them had an unmasked Ben Reilly head sculpt, and not everybody was able to get the one that came with the 2017 retro figure. So I would say that's this figure's biggest fault. It's not the biggest complaint coming from me because I have the old one. It just would have been a nice inclusion for everyone else that doesn't have that unmasked head. So with all that being said, I'm going to give this Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider a 9 out of 10. It is an excellent release, just missing one accessory, and it would have been perfect, I think. But now that leads us into the Last Stand Spider-Man. This is another cool, unique version of Spider-Man. The black and red motif is really used in this wave. This figure, I knew from the beginning I wasn't going to love it. I don't have a whole lot of experience with this look. After finding images online for reference, he doesn't wear it much, and when he does, it's not very dynamic. He just kind of was standing there in all the pictures I could find. So I knew getting this in hand, it wasn't going to be the most fun, and especially with the torso articulation. It's a real shame that that is so limited on a Spider-Man figure. I get what they were trying to do. They were trying not to break up the sculpt of the jacket. I understand that, but the one dumbbell joint at the hips just isn't right for this figure, and I did my best. I was able to get some cool poses, some dynamic shots of him. I will admit that. But overall, it just wasn't as satisfying to pose as other figures, especially it being a Spider-Man figure. If it was another character with another kind of motif or thing that they do, I could have maybe made it work. But as a Spider-Man, it just wasn't quite there. It's still fun. It's still a look I'm happy to have on the shelf or in the collection. But it's not my favorite Spider-Man figure to pose. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I think if you like the look or are building out a Spider-Verse display, it's one that you can definitely get and be happy with. But if you're like me and trying to really work on your posing or really just enjoy the articulation on figures, it's going to be kind of frustrating and just very disappointing in that way. But that is all I have to say about these three figures. Overall, it's a decent selection of Spider-Man characters for a wave, but not the ones I most wanted. The Scarlet Spider was definitely the best. And then, of course, I gotta give it the Spider Shot. That was a really unexpected, cool choice. And then Last Stand Spider-Man, again, I wish was a little bit better. But you let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.